The Asuran are an incredibly intelligent race with exceptionally short stature. An average Asuran ranges from 2 feet 10 inches to 3 feet 11 inches tall with a slender build and exaggerated features. The most dominant part of Asuran culture is the value of knowledge and intelligence. Typically, an individual Asuran will dedicate their entire lifespan to academics, learning as much about a particular subject area as possible, or by creating an ever-expanding portfolio of various inventions. Because of the Asura's value of intellectual supremacy, most Asuran are often arrogant and rude to other races, looking down on other races as lesser beings. Because of the Asura's physiology and intellect, they were able to survive within the Depths of Tyria. For thousands of years, the Asura were able to call the depths their home. Asuran society had built at least 6 large cities, including Korasum, as well as many other settlements throughout the depths. Many were built on locations of great arcane power, which the Asura studied and utilized. Within the depths, the Asura maintained regular contact with the other underground races of the Dwarves, the Dredge, and the Skrit, to which the Asura and Dwarves are solid allies, and the Asura viewed the Skrit as an exceptional threat. Additionally, during this time, the Asura were often egotistical and paranoid, where an individual Asuran would guard their knowledge and their inventions closely, preventing others from learning what they have. As a result of this, there has been the unfortunate loss of knowledge and history as various Asura pass away with their knowledge. Despite their flaws, it cannot be understated how intelligent the Asura are and how much mastery they have over the arcane and engineering, where Asuran technology is one of the, if not the, most advanced of any race's technology in the world. A prominent example of this are the Asura Gates, which are a method of transportation which allows anybody to step through one gate and immediately emerge from the other end. This allowed the Asura to connect their vast network of major cities and smaller settlements across the depths together. The central hub for the Asura Gate system is known as the Central Transfer Chamber. This hub was built on top of a major pocket of magical energy that allows the Asura to fuel all of their gates. A giant, ancient statue resembling a large dragon was the central source of this energy that allowed the Asura to thrive, but the Asura would soon find out that this source of magic was not a statue. In the year 1078 after Exodus, Asuran society had been carrying on in a regular fashion until earthquakes could be felt under one of the Asura's cities. From the split earth came thousands of creatures of rock and lava that began rampaging the Asuran city and killing all of the citizens within. From behind them came a larger creature, still rock and lava, but this creature had large wings, several talons, a giant body, and was a being of pure legend. Before the Age of Men, a powerful being known as the Great Dwarf walked the lands of Tyria, a great smith who would eventually create the Dwarven race upon Anvil Rock. Within a bound book known as the Tome of the Rubicon, the Great Dwarf wrote a book of lore and prophecy. In the tome was a tale of a struggle between the Great Dwarf and a being of cataclysm known only as the Great Destroyer, a monster of pure evil and greed who battled the Great Dwarf, but was eventually defeated and stripped of its power, banished to legend, and not seen to rise again until now. The Great Destroyer sent swarms of these rock and lava creatures known as Destroyers through the Asura Gate system, invading each and every settlement within Asuran civilization and killing potentially millions. This upheaved the entirety of Asuran society as a once great group of magical inventors and scientists began a desperate campaign to survive. For the next 42 years, the Asura would establish resistance forces within the depths to battle against the Destroyers. Many Asuran began to make their way up to the surface world to establish camps and begin to survive in a completely new environment. The Asura reached out to their Dwarven allies, who had also become involved in their own conflicts against the Destroyers. Together, the two races united alongside the humans and the Norn. Together, the 4 races were able to re-enter the Depths of Tyria and find the Great Destroyer underneath the Central Transfer Chamber. Here, the heroes of Tyria fought against the Destroyer and were able to eventually bring an end to its devastation. However, it would soon be discovered that the Great Destroyer was merely the lieutenant of a more powerful force. Above the battlefield in which the Great Destroyer was fallen, and below the central hub for the Asura Gate network, laid the statue that exuded magical energies. Except it was not merely a statue of a dragon, but it was the slumbering Elder Dragon of Primordus, a primordial being nearly as old as the planet itself, who, alongside the other Elder Dragons, would awaken every 10,000 years to consume all the magic of the world over the course of centuries before falling into slumber again. The Great Destroyer was only the beginning of Primordus' reign of chaos upon Tyria. In the year 1120 after Exodus, Primordus fully awakened. In doing so, all remaining Asura who were still underground were pushed up to the surface alongside the other races of the depths, such as the Skrit, and as such, the Asuran race had completely lost their home. In the minds of Asura's society, losing countless of their kind and their entire home was only a setback. As the first Asura came to the surface of the world, they discovered the ruins of an ancient and unknown civilization that once resided within the Maguma jungle. Within these ruins, the Asura set up camps, power generators, and fortifications to create their new homes. From their first camp known as Radasum, the Asura were able to expand across the jungle and reach as far as the Steamspur Mountains, where they created a now abandoned settlement known as Radaten. The Asura, in the entirety of its meaning, thrived in their newfound home of the surface world. The Asura built up their cities into wonders of the world, including their new capital of Radasum, which was eventually built into an incredible geometrical masterpiece that is a testament to the Asura's unstoppable ability to progress. With the tragedy that struck the Asura, their old ways of selfishness and paranoia faded slightly as a newfound belief of the sharing of knowledge arose. Within the great city Radasum arose 3 colleges in which Asuran progenies would apply to in order to learn the knowledge of the Asura and eventually join a crew to work towards new knowledge and new inventions. The College of Dynamics excel at creating solutions at the highest peak of Asuran magic technology to fix problems that no one else has even perceived of. The College of Statics excels at efficiency and building inventions that will last, such as the great city of Radasum, and the College of Synergetics excelled at developing applications for the abstract and mystical complexities of the Eternal Alchemy. The Eternal Alchemy is the central philosophical ideology for all Asura, where every aspect of physical and magical beings in Tyria are interconnected and weave around each other, including the human gods and the Elder Dragons, which are just components, albeit significantly larger components, alongside all other beings in the world. Through the understanding of and the knowledge gleaned from the Eternal Alchemy, the Asura can better understand reality. Through the Asura colleges and various crews, the Asura have been able to become more powerful than they have ever been before, creating incredible pieces of technology, gaining a better understanding of the magics of the world, and even being able to recreate the Asura Gate network. The Asura Gates, alongside the magical Asuran Waypoints, allowed the Asura to establish diplomatic relationships and also create a market to grow their economy, where these gates and waypoints were established all over the world, allowing all of the races of Tyria to use the wonders of instantaneous travel for a fee. The gates are managed by various Asuran gatekeepers who maintain the gate and also handle the payments for body and cargo. However, the Asura concede to the other races in which individual Asura gates are located the regulations for what would be able to travel through Asura gates, where different individuals would not be able to bring specific items or items that are contaminated by the magics of the Elder Dragons to areas where the local governments deem those items illegal. The Asura Gate are but one example of the Asura's genius. Centuries ago, various Asuran Golemancers created their first golems, which are technological masterpieces. Prior to the attack of the Great Destroyer, golems were not incredibly common, but the rising threat of the Elder Dragons pushed the Asura to reevaluate the necessity of these creations. A new crew and project was started known as Genius-Operated Living Enchanted Manifestation, or Golem for short, which kickstarted the industrialization and mass production of golems to allow the Asura an army of workers and soldiers to fend off the destroyers and any other threat. The new golems were only the start for Asuran advancement in this field. Many different Asuran scientists and engineers theorized and applied new ideas into their golems. One of these Asurans was Oola, who was able to connect golemancy and necromancy together and created a line of golems that would be able to use the powers of both life and death. But it wasn't until the Great Asuran Snaff in which golemancy would change forever, where Snaff was able to create multiple pieces of new technology and pioneered the field of cephalolithopathic golems, which allowed these golems to be controlled remotely and also through a manual user located inside of a cockpit within the abdomen of the golem. While Snaff's ideas and inventions were initially mocked by Asuran society, it would eventually become the standard for the golems we see today. Beyond the Asura's gates, waypoints, and golems, wonders of Asuran technology can be found throughout the world, as new progenies are born and begin learning in labs before eventually joining a college and eventually joining a crew. There is unlimited potential for what the Asura could create. as various crews and independent scientists work around the world to push forward the fields of different sciences, build new things, and create new solutions. The Asuran people experienced tragedy, but thrived and excelled nonetheless. With their rebuilt society, ever-expanding knowledge and technology, and their diplomacy with the other races of the world, the Asura have solidified themselves as one of the most important and prominent races of Tyria, where the Asura can explore the world and its various opportunities, allowing new stories to be created. Thank you for watching this lore and story video about the Asura and Guild Wars 2. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by liking this video and subscribing to my channel, because it helps grow my channel a lot and present these stories to even more people. I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Have a good one.